Hello everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Gonna have a bit of a fun one today. I know we did work on a semi-strategic bomber last time, but I know we have actually gotten a few other things. Just want to check the scan map real quick. This is really convenient, but let's take a peek at a couple simple things. Because one of the things I wanted to check was we have unlocked different types of motors / engines that all operate in different ways. We do have what look like submarine parts, so that might be something we look at a little later also. That is insane. But if I come up here to propeller engines, theoretically, I might be able to make a very tiny aircraft that is just this. I do believe I would need a fuel tank no matter what. We need liquid fuel. And guess we could toss a tail piece on here. Yeah, I guess the tail piece would work. that, and then we just want to toss little wings on it. Where is it? This. Bring that back just a little bit. And then let's add some wheels. Now, I do want wheels that are able to fold. That, and we're gonna do that, and that should... Gotta move it back more. And that should just cause it to crash into the ground because the wheels are literally not deep enough. Okay. New plan. We're gonna grab the massive... You know, have no reason to have this on a tiny airplane type of wheel. And we are going to do this. We're gonna put that there. Then we're gonna drag it back and up. And we want that up just enough. Man, this is silly. Okay. That's what we'll call it. I just kind of want to see if we can make a little propeller plane, see if it does anything interesting. This is already one of the funniest aircraft I've ever made. Apparently also one of the stablists. Stabilists. This is also very fast. How fuel efficient is it? Massively. Apparently the faster it runs, the more efficient the engine gets. Actually, since this is actually working as well as it is, engage the autopilot. A altitude of 3,000 meters. You can do 5 meters per second, thank you. Or not, okay. So that was useless. But we did learn that that engine produces a near obscene amount of speed. So, let's look at going crazier. Which, now I think about, I need to move those first. Then take them, put them back. Put them back. Okay. Then what do I want to do with them? Actually. Oh, don't tell me I could do this. And then set reverse thrust. Oh, this is amazing. This is probably gonna explode, but this is amazing. Forgot the first rule, which is figure out your center of lift and center of mass, and then adjust wheels accordingly, because right now my center of mass is in front of my wheels. Now, simple solution to this. Do that. Which looks absolutely ridiculous. However, now that those are both set, this is going to have not just the mass and the lift is wrong. I just noticed that. As far as I'm aware, this physically should not be able to get off the ground. Granted, it should move. We'll turn off the autopilot, seeing as it is absolutely not useful. No idea why that's visible. I know some things updated. Fuck you in the corner, I guess. Thing is, yep, immediately gonna flip because the center of lift is in front of the center of mass. So, easiest way to fix that is to shift the wings backwards, which may sound counterintuitive, but it actually is one of the easiest ways to solve the problem. Granted, nope. Granted, it doesn't help if I accidentally hit launch instead of the button I was thinking of hitting. I was gonna say, as I shift the center of mass back, it is gonna cause the issue that the fuel cylinders are gonna shift with it, so I have to basically click on them and shift the whole thing back. And by doing that, it should theoretically allow us to take off while having a very fuel heavy aircraft. That back, right? And then you click on this, move that forward. Now, right now, that looks nice, but it does not work well. So we take this, move those back. And theoretically, that works. Now, realistically, if I made this in real life, if it didn't explode, I'd be shocked. Especially because one of the features that it shows that you can kind of notice is that the air intakes are backwards. Yep. See? Now, theoretically, those could be air exhausts, but I doubt it. Now, this is quite a fast aircraft. But I have definitely gotten rid of the stability. And what it is the amount of thrust this thing generates supersedes the amount of control that these surfaces provide. Granted, it's still interesting that the longer this runs, the more fuel efficient it gets. Also, this is a pretty big incline to have the aircraft at, that it was still gaining speed. I just level it out. Oh, no, we don't want to follow that. You will crash into the ground then. Oh, that's a sweet spot. Okay. It's not perfect, but... yeah. Honestly, it's not super fast, but it is... generally speaking, very useful. So I might use this later on for something else. That just... yep. Don't mess with the thrust vectoring on your propellers. Not while you're moving. So, as interesting as that is, put that there. Get rid of these because we don't actually need them. That we're gonna put it at the end of the wings like you would kind of realistically do, although we would not be that high up. We do have to move this forward in order to ensure the wheelbase is where we need it to be. Which is fine. It's where it was before. No, don't need... I need to unlock the position because I don't actually have a need for that right now. Cancel. So that works, but let's take a peek. Oh. I see that there are a whole bunch of propeller blades, including, but not limited to, helicopter blades. So, let's take a look at doing a theoretical helicopter. MK3. I know it's not going to show everything, but it should show quite a bit. You know, when it decides to load. there are quite a few parts, so it is not surprising. Boom. Okay, I guess we can put a tiny one. Because if we're gonna build a helicopter, might as well make it do something. Next thing we need to do is go to robotics. Cute. Hmm. There we go. That kind of looking a little bit better. Now, we do want to make sure that we are doing lift vectoring. That's a tiny helicopter. That's a big helicopter. Cool. Try to put that in a semi-intelligent way. Okay, clockwise does seem to be right. Next thing we need to do is figure out a good set of wheels for this, because this kind of thing, yeah, this feels like the kind of thing you do that for. Next thing we need to do, not command and control. I believe it's actually in engines. There is lift fan now. Hmm. Okay. My question is, if I go to our robotics, grab this little guy, and open the editor, can I select? Gotta remember, need to be in actions. select this, select this. Ah. Hmm. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I've never so I know you can do this. I just don't know if this is gonna do what I think it's gonna do. It very likely will not. But I know there is a way to set it up so that your WASD controls the basically the torque or power of an engine. Wait, they're saying liquid fuel. Okay, so this needs an air intake. Okay. Well, we're gonna do something that you normally wouldn't do, and that is we are going to run it as a Chinook. The only reason I'm doing that is I am not smart enough to figure out how to tell it to operate as anything but a Chinook. Don't ask me why it operating as a Chinook technically will be easier for me. Shouldn't be. But it is. Or at least it's easier for the part of my brain that knows how this is supposed to work. Let's see, how far... Ooh, okay. That is good to know. That means I can take this, move it there, get rid of that, take this, go there. Now, the important thing we need to do is rotate these and tell this to spin counterclockwise. Now, the reason we're doing that is it will counteract the rotational speed. Other thing we want to do is add some air intakes. Now, I'm not really a fan of the way this is set up or the way it looks, especially because, like, any air intake that I put on here is going to look a little silly. Like, it's wrong. I don't care what you tell me, it's wrong. Like, that looks right. But that does leave us with the issue of air intakes now. Based off the amount of air that we've needed in the past, I'm gonna look at these guys. They work. They look nice. I just realized our ramp is massive, and I need to fix the wheels so that they are such are not as bad, but they're still bad. Two, one, two. Still bad, but a semi-realistic approach. You know, having something on the side with little bulbs on the inside for it. Okay, at least theoretically, this should work. Now, whether it does or not, we'll find out. I have also realized that my stream is a little delayed. Lot I can do about that. Settle. On power loss, I think we do want the motor to spin free. Just out of safety. The question is, working. Toggle motor. Gauge mode drive. Throttle. RPM limit. Yeah, let's do an RPM limit on both of these. Oop, that looked like it wanted to do something. Okay, why is this? Oh, okay, but why is the alternator not going? That's engaging the motor drive. Just disable the servo. We will go here and enable it just in case. I don't get it. What am I missing? I will tell it, hey, make sure that the resources are in flow. Oh. Well, that's something I have to fix anyway. Did not realize I doubled up the motors. That would do very bad things on its own. It does not, however, explain. Anything to do with this. So fuel delivery is working. There we go. That's because if we can, why not? We do want to make sure that we have the nodes set up right. Go free on power loss. So again, we have air intake. We have fuel intake. Brake is at 0. Brake is at 0. Save, launch. I do wish some of this stuff was a little easier. simply because going through this, it is not clear what controls what and how. Okay, that's great. We have battery power, so there's no reason this should be giving me a hard time. Edit the action group. Okay. So we did get that to work. Now we do main throttle and connect that to the RPM limit. Okay. The other thing we want to do is rotation. See if hmm. I can't lock it. Set to build. Reset to build. Okay. Uh, cool. Cool. You are now supposedly going for lift, but I think what I need to do, based off what I'm seeing, here, edit the action group, check this, and I want to check basically what I need to do, or quite how to do, is I have to adjust the right engines down. Apparently I can not escape. That's a problem. Oh, I forgot you can't do it while having that particular menu open. But I know what's wrong, which is some people may not have noticed it. The blades are not rotated. Now, some people might go, what? And I would go, yep. And that would still make no sense to them. Uh, and notice how it won't let me do it? Because you have to do it individually. You notice I've done it wrong. Because the way you do it is a bit special. In order for me to do it right, that might be a little too much, but I will find out, and I will find out the hard way. Now, if there is a thing for this, I am not familiar with it. That would be it. Let me go back. And then we want to come here. Notice how that says deploy, and all of a sudden it works great. So what we need to do, come here, main throttle, RPM limit, RPM limit. Forward, back. Don't know if that works. I'm going to have to guess that this is gonna work. I do not feel like it will. But I've got to at least try. The other thing I need to do is move these back. Otherwise they're going to smash into each other. Or, worse, they're going to phase through each other, which will just annoy me. Theoretically, it should lift off as we go up. And, you know, handle other things as we go down. we're going to say toggle the deploy on all of these with 1. Now the reason for this is going to become clear relatively quickly. Without deploying them, you will literally just drop out. You won't get enough lift to actually take off. Some of the stuff is a lot more complicated. If I was running a multi-flight stick style thing, I could probably get away with doing it the way I'd want, because I'm a bit of a control freak. But theoretically, the instant we do that, arc limit 100 and torque limit 100 and immediately see that they have all deployed in the wrong direction. Wait a second. No. No, 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 no. Well, well, that's a thing. Not a thing I like. It's not a thing that makes sense. But it is a thing, and I need to fix it because right now I am basically doing deploy angles with my thing, which could be useful, but not in the way I'm doing them. Right now, I am, in essence, the slower it's moving, the more it wants to hit the ground, which isn't actually useful. Now, what I should do, which I will do, is I should have the motors just on and off, not torque speed, because torque speed's useless. Like, not really, but in this particular case, it is useless. Because as the deploy angle changes, the motors are going to change, and I have to actually change it because the weight's in the front. So this just wants to go and basically, you know, heel over on me, as you can see. See? Torque limit 50. Torque limit 10. So we're going to set that to 100 RPMs. 230. Notice, because of the way I have it set, it's not really going to work. So, come into our action groups, edit the action group. Boop. And As silly as it sounds, remove that. Come to custom action group 1. Get rid of the deployment. Go to default. Toggle motor engaged. That's it. Then for main throttle, we actually do want to adjust the deployment angle, because what we're doing with this is by changing the thrust, we're actually changing the lift properties. Now, the problem I have is as soon as I close this out, either nothing's going to happen or everything's going to happen. Okay. Boom. Boom. Now, hey, you have to actually come in here because I hit the button. Let's put them all in retraction. Oh. Send. Cool. Send. Just need this one to work. This one might be broken. So we're going to come to action groups, action group, stage, default, click, send. Okay. Now, motors definitely want to go on. RPM and torque are set. Uh, 230. That's how you press yourself into the ground. 230 is not quite enough. That's a little better. $280 is too much. Okay. So, helicopters, difficult. Does it, make it more difficult that I'm doing a Chinook style? Yes, absolutely. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna save, exit there. We spent about an hour doing some silly stuff. Let us do some rocket science. And one of the things is, boom, we just maxed out that. It does mean that some of the vehicle, or more specifically, the vehicle I want to launch, I don't believe I'm going to have the funds to launch. Which means we're going to be doing a bunch of contracts to make some moolah back. Yeah, I don't think we're going to use that particular one. Micro relay. Interesting. Let me see. Is this the satellite relay I'm thinking of? Yes. It's also not perfect, but it's also not quite what I'm thinking of, but that would be the one. I keep forgetting I had a different idea, and then I ended up squashing it because there was a limit set in game for what I was thinking of, and I had exceeded it exponentially. Now we're going to come here. Cover an item. That's a little worry. Stranded in orbit around the moon. A is not quite where I need. Satellite in orbit. Send aircraft. Attach a high gain antenna. This is actually something relatively easy. So, as crazy as it sounds, it really is. I just need to build a small shuttlecraft. Here to the open. Gonna look at some of our cheaper, like, I think I can do it with that because I can afford it. Forever might be able to pull it off in the price range. Check, what is recovery? Technically, that would work. That would work quite well, actually. Given, what it is and how it is supposed to work. Boom, boom. That would basically pop that off. The one thing I do want to do, though, is copy this here. Because it would be getting re-entered into the atmosphere as it comes down. That crew We want, I guess, Jeb to be our engineer for now, but we want to come to cargo. And we want to go to our antennas. D2. Might also just be HG5 might be the fastest way to do it, but hopefully C2 narrows it down enough. Okay. Of course not. That would be too convenient. EVA. Go. I guess what we have to do is just get this close enough. And we'll launch it. Now, theoretically, we'll get a lot of the value back for this. The hard part is actually going to be getting our orbit lined up. So I just realized what type of fuel this uses. And this is a very poor rocket design for that. Not an aircraft autopilot. We need ascent guidance. Toggle. Cool. Preferably, I would like to see the mission satellite that a handle. As you can see, fuel is actually burning up. SSX. Target. Thousand into the plane. Engage autopilot. You just burned a whole bunch of fuel, didn't you? Yeah. Why are you... Could have launched at that inclination and just called it a day. No. Let me guess. Yep. Wasted a whole bunch of stuff. Trying to get us into the appropriate orbit. Thankfully, at least in theory, I have packed more than enough fuel for this trip. However, what I didn't pack is a way to force that to actually make it work. So this might be going a little bit crazy with its profile. But we'll find out quite quickly. But it would have definitely thrown the shield. And that is not what we want. Okay, 12-second burn. Theoretically, should be able to handle doing that and throwing the shield at the right time. Should have plenty of mono propellant for a close encounter. The engines are relatively safe, so they don't overshoot, but it does mean that there is that little bit of an undershoot there. And hopefully that is below the horizon. Should allow for stage recovery in an appropriate fashion. Oh. One of the things someone had said to me is, I don't know if it's in these settings, I think might be in this, extended burn. Yes. I cannot believe I have not noticed this ever. Like, it's been sitting there, and that tells you exactly when you should burn. Start burn in to do a 50-50 split, which is how you normally get a good, clean, like set into a thing, into a burn, so that you have it even and a non-lopsided set. I don't like that that is shrinking. Okay, this means I have to point retrograde in order to kill off those motors. It is not something I wanted to have to do. Not to mention literally having the tanks that are on there are just going to burn up electric charge. Two, one, boom. Prograde. Guidance. Engage. Autopilot, and that should fix it. No, that's not gonna fix it. Disengage, 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 disengage. Prograde, please. Is right now very nominal. Because we have definitely messed all that up. All that hard work is basically out the window because I hit Ascent Guidance, which is not something you want to do. Radical. That's it. Prograde? Come on. Goody, that wasted so much. Out to warp there. So I can waste the rest of the fuel. Setting this up as a splashdown. Retrograde, my boy. Boom. Prograde. Prograde, please. Now that we are no longer. Do that. Because I need to be able to know. I now need to do planner. Apple apps. Definitely messed this up. I've messed this up bad. Boom. Theoretically, that fixes that, but it does not give us what we need to match it. I may have to revert simply because of my own foolishness with the way I handled it. Also, the fact that I don't have working SAS for some reason, ever so annoying. Good enough. Um, Damn. That's silly. Thanks, Perry apps and Apple apps. Target. No, it's 13 for the Perry apps. 13, 4, 3. It. And then 16, 21, 0. New Perry apps. Okay. New Apple apps. Into 1, 0. Nine, 0. Remove, create. Okay. Of this. to even if it's not perfect. Problem is that is all my field. Actually, all nodes, create a node. Right, gotta remove, then create. 11 minutes to fix this. So we want to do grade and we want to bring it up. Execute. Let it figure itself out and kind of hope for the best here. Because it is our fault. We wasted a boatload of Delta V just trying to get into position. And what we need to do is basically round out the orbit, but force a small rotation on it. It does, however, mean we have a nice little orbit speed. Downside is, like, we're nowhere near intersect. So, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be one. Toss that in there so that we're no longer seeing it. That is, at least for now, our burn being done. We have what? Another minute left of the burn, so just kind of have to sit and wait. Also move this to that corner because I'm not using it. I don't think I will. Oh, that's nice. I actually want or need. Hmm. That's kind of neat. I like that. That is nice. apps. Port 3.0 at the Apple apps. Neat. And now we need to. Going to be the part that's dangerous. C. If stuff lines up, some stuff doesn't. Okay. Not perfect, but it is the node we need to do so that we can, in essence, get where we want to be. The downside is this is going to use up a lot of our craft's capabilities. Not to mention, for some reason, it's burning at a very poor timing, so hopefully this is enough to get us ballpark. Our problem is going to be is, aside from clipping the orbit of the moon, making sure we have the fuel to get home. If we don't have the fuel to get home, I'm going to actually have to scrub it back. Reason for that is hypothetically we'll say 400. If I've got 400, I can drop us out. That is actually very useful to know. Move the node. Come here, add a maneuver. This. Reason for that is 25. But the reason for it is so that we can get the alignment right. Basically, what we need to do is start moving faster than that. And that says separation is 29. That separation is 21. Honestly, it's not the worst. It's just, it might not be where we want it to be. That now. Do is we slowly add a little bit. Not too much. So that goes from 29 to so. We will warp here. Boop. Watch. Past that. Quite a bit closer. Here. To where we are. Roll locked. Why? I just murder them. Yeah. Okay. That's irritating that we've basically just burned a whole mission for nothing. What do you mean? What just happened is something I was kind of aware of, but not really, which is at a certain point, they just kind of go cuckoo from the radiation, and I don't blame them, because radiation does bad things to you, and you can only be in space for so long before that bad stuff kind of eats you alive. So, one of the things we are going to do, especially now that we know we're all the issues we've had, is we are going to add a new SAS module. Yes, we have one there. No, for some reason it does not care, so we are tossing that there. That should help with that. What other things I need to check aside from experiment return capsule, which I don't need. I'm not running experiments. I noticed enable cooling. Now this is going to be a lot. But I have to manually enable all of the cooling. Why? I don't know. Actually, thinking about it, we're not playing this game. Here's what we're gonna do. All of the tanks. That. Here. Move that for now. Here and go there. There. Now, that should have its cooling running. The problem is, it is a lot of cooling for this. The other issue is, as you can see, the alignment. I might have to add a little bit extra, and the reason for that is with us running out of fuel the way we did, I don't want to have us do that again. So, I believe that is our asparagus staging done properly. We just need to apply the fuel lines as necessary and make sure that we separate these in the right order. Which motor is this? Any and all motors will be separated. So that's first. Here. Boom, 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 boom. And you are gonna come here and go there. Never a dull moment. One of the things, though, is this should, in theory, fix the exploding stage. Save on that just in case. Got enough fuel. The thing that's worrying me. Yeah. The thing that's gonna kind of worry me is whether we can pull this off. Also, engines just... Now, part of this that we do need is solar panels that work, and they have to work for an extended period of time, not just the period of time that we think it is needed. here. Local. Haha! At least looks the part. I go boom, boom. What battery bank does that hold? Quite a bit. Okay. Let us get into a okay launch orbit. We're probably going to be finishing this mission on Wednesday, just given the current time. Or for our YouTube audience in the next episode. What I'm gonna do is tell it, hey, get us in orbit like yesterday. Right now we are using a lot. You'll need to activate this and that as our target. No idea if this is gonna work, but try. Yeah, no you don't. Revert to assembly. Of course. Because of course, the lack of thrust the lack of these guys. My brain is shot. But yeah, the lack of locking down everything, basically. Just auto strut, rigid. You are going to auto strut to the root, and hopefully that's going to be enough. What we're going to do for now is we're going to zero it out, engage, launch. And the reason we're going to do that is so that we have a bit of a cleaner thing. We will burn a little bit more fuel than I'd like, but theoretically will be cleaner. Okay, that still broke, but it only broke in one part, so hopefully that means... hopefully that's fine. Otherwise, all of these stages are gonna burst apart every time it stages because I grabbed the wrong one. Be really irritating. Nope, just general angriness at me attempting to do something and fix it. It is also kind of funny that every time I stage, the power use drops. Okay. Looks like we will stage at the appropriate time. Kind of a little confused why it took a bit more to get up. Not really. I added quite a bit more weight to it. That does make sense. Although that still is quite a bit of power for it to consume per second. So, no idea where I'm generating power from. Drop that, and then go boom. Okay, that was relatively clean. Thing we want to do here, set up our target. Set that as the target. We want to planes, create a node to match the plane. Okay. Theoretically, that should be fine. The reason I say that is it should have enough delta V left. It won't be a lot, but it should have enough left to kind of drop the big stage down low enough that I can do a, like, sit in and let the atmosphere grab it. There we go. Let the warp take over. Keeping an eye on our electric charge because we do not want it to zero out. We have 3 seconds extra on the burn, I believe. A retrograde. Out. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Burn. Okay. At least back in a safe orbit. That's what we need. Next. Okay. Nothing to worry about then. What you have to worry about, though, adding a new node and bringing our Apple apps up. Nope. That would be our timer going off. See if we can carefully that time shift. On. You there is gonna fix that. But theoretically I can fix that at a later point in time. So execute the next node. It is a very expensive node, but it should give us what we need. It is also a 3.5 minute node. So gotta take a breather, let it run, and then we will have to do a save. Reason for that is we have run out of time, so we will have to pick it up in our next episode. For those of you watching the stream live, that would be Wednesday, same time, same place. For those of you on YouTube, I believe it should appear either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. One of the other things I need to check while I'm here, apparently we have 3 days worth of food. No idea if we're going to be able to pull that off. This might also be one of the things of me being a fool and not bringing enough supplies. Although, we will be good for the next couple days. The issue we have is still a radiation issue. What other issues are we missing? Ooh, training if really I'm gonna have to look into that. No. The stress and confinement are issues, but the radiation is probably gonna be what would do you in normally. Alright. Something to look forward to. Which reminds me, I do need to do some decontamination because some of my Kerbals are getting a little glow in the darky. That's not really a great thing. You want an EVA report, which is just not happening. Okay. Toolbar option. Oops. I think I just killed that. Yeah. I don't know. Hop back up. Hmm. Okay, cute, but getting a little old a little quickly. Okay. Alright, everyone. That is unfortunately where we're at. I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.